Andrew, I'd like to thank you for coming out for our session this evening. I'd like to start out our session by just letting you know what I'd like to accomplish during our time together, and then we can see if there's anything that you'd like to add. So first of all, I just want to find out a little bit more about you, and then I'd kind of like to see what a typical day might look like in your life, and then I'd like you to kind of identify what your major difficulties have been. And we can take those and look at ways that we might be able to address those difficulties starting right after when you leave here, right as soon as you walk out the door. And then I'm just going to ask you for some feedback, and that'll kind of be our session for the day. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that agenda?
That sounds fine.
Okay. So why don't you tell me how you've been feeling recently, and for how long?
Well, I've been under a lot of pressure at work recently. There's been I don't know. There's just been a lot of new clients coming in, and I'm working more hours than I've been used to, and I don't know. It sometimes feels a little bit overwhelming.
So how have you kind of been dealing with some of this stress?
I don't know if I've been dealing with it. I guess I just there's not a lot of time to deal with it. It just, you wake up, go to work, try to get some sleep, wake up, go back to work.
Why don't you give me a little more specific? So start with, you wake up. What time do you wake up?
Wake up around 6:30, 7 in the morning. Get into work around 7:30 or 8.
Is there anything in particular that you can think of that's kind of preventing you from being able to go to sleep?
I don't know. My mind just goes a lot of the time. I think about what went on in the day. I think about what's coming up the next day. Kind of feel like a pressure in my chest about all the things that I either didn't accomplish in the day or the things that I have to accomplish in the next day. I always feel like I'm falling behind, and something that just kind of goes over and over my head is like, there just are not enough hours in the day to do all the things that need to be done. Like, I feel like I'm letting friendships slip, so I think about that, but I don't have any time to. Like the other day, my friend called and was like, "Hey, we should have some, like, we should talk after you get off work or whatever." And I got off work and it was just too late and I couldn't call him, but that just happens all the time and I haven't even called him back since then.
Do you feel like you're kind of getting overwhelmed by all the things that you have to do, and you're not able to keep track of your friendships, and all of that's just kind of weighing on you, it's going through your mind all the time, and it's kind of interrupting your sleep a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Why don't you kind of tell me a little bit about what was happening when your friend called? So your friend calls, and you can't talk to him at this time, and you haven't called him back in days. What kind of things are going through your mind as a result of that? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I guess I'm feeling like I'm not meeting him halfway. Like, I'm not being a good friend. Like, so for someone to reach out to you and like want to talk to you and want to spend time with you, like that's a really cool thing, and like that's a very kind thing for someone to do, and to not be able to reciprocate that, and not to have time to help nurture that friendship just makes me feel like mad at myself, mad at my situation, frustrated. Feel like I'm letting not just him down, but like lots of people down.
So the thoughts that you have in your head are, I'm not being a good friend. I'm letting my relationship slip. I'm not being there for people the way they are being there for me. And then the feelings that are resulting from that are, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, you're feeling bad about yourself, reason that I was asking you to kind of identify things for me is because I wanna take a look at what we call the cognitive model. Have you ever heard of the cognitive model before?
Nope.
What the cognitive model states is that we have thoughts that that affect our emotions, which in turn affect our behavior, and then the cycle kind of continues, and so then that also affects our thoughts. So I want you to kind of look at this little chart that I have here. So here we have a triggering event. We have some kind of event that happens, and for this is your friend calls you, and you don't have time to talk because you're just so overwhelmed with work, and you don't have time to call him back, and so then your automatic thoughts that come to you without even thinking are, I'm not a good friend, I can't keep track of my relationships, I'm letting my friendship slide, all these things. And then those are leading to your emotions, and your emotions are feeling angry at yourself, feeling angry at your job, feeling bad about yourself, feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, feeling depressed, all those kinds of things are happening. And then that's leading to what your behavior. And the way that this cycle works, any number of behaviors can kind of result from what's happening. And so what is the behavior that's kind of come out of that for you?
I guess kind of a lethargic evening. Like I guess that could contribute to me not sleeping at night.
Mm-hmm. So you're not sleeping well. You're not calling your friend back.
Yeah, I guess I have been
So you're
isolating.
So not maintaining relationships. Isolating. All these things. And so when we take a look at this cognitive model, what we see in the cognitive model is there are certain things that we can't change. So certain events that are happening that we can't change. What we can change is our thoughts about those things and our behavior as a result of those things. And so what we're going to be able to do in our treatment is we're going to be able to really look at what those thoughts are that you're having, and we're going to look at those behaviors, and we're going to come up with ways that we can help you to identify these thoughts and change these thoughts, and we're going to start modifying your behavior so we can kind of break this negative cycle that you've been stuck in. So you lead to this behavior, so you're isolating yourself, you're not maintaining your relationships, you're not sleeping well, and that's leading back to these automatic thoughts that you already have about not being able to be a good friend, not knowing how to maintain relationships, and then it's keeping you stuck in this cycle. And so we're going to try and work towards breaking that cycle. And so as I was listening to you kind of talk about some of the things that you're going through, I noticed a few problems that you were identifying. And one of those is you're not sleeping well at night. Another one is that you're having trouble in some of your relationships. Was there any other particular problems that you wanna work on, that maybe you didn't mention, or maybe that I missed?
I guess those are big ones.
Which one of those do you think would be the most important for you to work on? Which is the one that you think is maybe contributing to the most to some of your feelings of depression, or which one do you think would be the one that would be easiest for us to start with? Because I don't want to add more things onto you right now, because I know you're already overwhelmed. What would you say is the most troubling of these things?
I guess in this particular instance, the most troubling thing would just be, my lack of reaching out to the people that I'm close to. And I guess that would be the easiest thing to work on, actually, because it's hard for me to think about being able to control my thoughts. Like I can't control that, but I guess I could be better about not isolating. If I could get better sleep during the week, I wouldn't have to just sleep all weekend. I could actually reach out to people and make an intentional choice to, like, call my sister, call my friends, do something on like Saturday and Sunday, so that at least I could have that time. So instead of just looking into the future and seeing like no time that I could ever invest in these people, that I could say, well, at least I had that Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and spend time with them. And
Let
that
me
could
just
be a
stop you
holdover.
here for 1 minute. I heard you say that if you could get better sleep during the week, then you might be able to work on reaching out to some of your friendships. Do you feel like maybe we might need to focus on getting better sleep during the week before we could start really working on building those relationships?
Yeah, I mean, if I could sleep, that would help a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm exhausted all the time, but I can't sleep. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a possibility we can kind of maybe work on both of these things together. Maybe we can start looking and identifying some things that might be posing barriers for you being able to sleep at night. And at the same time, we can kind of take some small steps towards building relationships. So, so I know we talked about calling your friend on your lunch break, and you had mentioned maybe trying to make plans during the weekends. Maybe we could look at just one plan that you could make just this weekend, because I'm going to see you again next week. So we're just taking small steps and small goals. So what is one thing you might be interested in doing this weekend that you might be able to try and make plans to do?
I could make a plan with my friend Charlie
Mm-hmm.
to play Borderlands together. Call him up and we could play Borderlands on Saturday.
Okay, so you're going to call Charlie, and you're going to see if he can schedule Borderlands on Saturday. Okay. So you've got 2 things that you can do this week. Do you feel like that's enough things to add into your schedule in terms of building up those relationships?
Yeah, I think that'd be doable.
So something that I was thinking of in terms of having trouble sleeping is maybe you could, if you could do this every night, just kind of create a journal of what you're doing in the evenings, like what your evenings are looking like. So when you're trying to go to bed, what kind of thoughts are going through your mind, all that kind of stuff, and just put it all out in a journal every night. It doesn't have to be long paragraphs. You don't have to, you don't have to write any kind of essays, but just jot down little notes like had a beer at 8 p.m., went to bed at 10, didn't fall asleep till midnight or something like that, or and then recording those thoughts that you're having in your head, like can't get to sleep, never gonna get to sleep. Those, just keeping kind of track of those, and then we can kind of look back at them over the week and see if there's any things that might be disrupting your sleep. Because so you can kind of see how the cognitive model is at play here. So you have this event, could be many events that happen throughout your day. In this case, it's you can't get to sleep at night, and you're running through this long list of things that you have to do through the day, and you have the thought like, I'm gonna fail, I'm not gonna be able to do this, and then that makes you feel sick, you feel tired, your body feels heavy, you're mad, you're sad, you're all these things at once, and as a result of that, you just try to tune it out. You watch TV, play video games, and that isolates you from your social relationships. It may be contributing to your inability to sleep, and then it kind of all starts over again.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So let's look at this thought you have, this automatic thought here, and let's look at testing the validity of that. So what's the evidence that in your life that this thought is true, and what's the evidence that it's false? And this is something that we can do to really start testing all of the automatic thoughts that pop into our minds. It's like, how true is this? What's the evidence supports it, and what's the evidence against? So maybe kind of looking at the different ways in which you haven't failed, and kind of just evaluating that statement. I think that can kind of help you move a little bit